Now what I did here is I just chopped up a little bit of lobster. Okay? Give it a little toss there. Now everybody can do this at home too, right?
Yeah.
And it goes all over the floor, the ceiling.
Talking about home, Chef Matthew, is there anything you like to cook at home? A great chef like you must have like huge meals and very complicated recipes, right?
I make lobster ravioli every day for myself. No. When I'm at home, it's easy peasy, simple cooking. Chicken in the oven, but my favorite, as all, Kraft macaroni and cheese in the box. It's horrible, I know, but I don't cook like this when I'm at home. I'm sorry. When I'm at home, I relax, I sleep, I watch my football, watch my baseball, play some golf. That's about it. And then I have some fun. All right, so I'm just going to put this in here. Now I got to let this cool down just a little bit because I can't put cold cheese into hot food. Now, I did show you the lobster here, which I'm going to kind of pull out here. I have lobster meat. Now, this is whole cooked lobster. It's called claw and knuckle. Anybody have Trader Joe's at home? Mm-hmm. Yep. Whole Foods? Yeah. I love Whole Foods. Ooh, awesome. So in the freezer department, they have a 1 pound bag. It's called lobster claw and knuckle meat. $9.99 a pound. That's where the majority of your cost from this dish is going to come from, is a lobster. Okay? One bag will make about 60 ravioli. Wow. When you're all said and done. Now, they are small ravioli, and you'll have about 4 or 5 of them, but you have enough for about 5 or 6 people for sure. But, like I said, the lobster claw and knuckle meat, once you take it, you can chop up a little bit in here, add a little bit for garnish, so on and so forth. So it's a very economical use of the lobster. Now, can you use whole lobster, you might be asking yourself?
Can you use whole lobster?
Of course you can. There's all different types of lobster out there. You can have Northern Canadian tails, you can have lobster, you can have Maine tails, you can have South African tails, you can have cold water tails, warm water tails, Caribbean lobster. You can even use crayfish. Anybody from the Midwest here, crayfish?
Louisiana.
Australia, you have crayfish in Australia too, don't you? Yeah, there you go. You can even use crayfish, crawfish. I like crawfish. That's some good stuff. French fried potatoes, no, I'm sure. But you can use anything like that, and you can get it all frozen. And you can use the fresh product as well. It's a little bit more of a hassle to go through for the fresh lobster. Of course, you have to cook it, chill it, clean it, pull it apart, the whole 9 yards. That's why this is already ready to go. Easy peasy. You get different sweetnesses from lobsters. In France, they have what's called the blue lobster. Anybody heard of the blue lobster? No, yes, no. There is. It's called the blue lobster, and it's actually off the coast of France. They can only harvest them twice a year, and the lobster itself is actually blue. It's very unique. It's about $38 a pound, which is about 40 euro. I don't know how many euros it is. Anybody from Europe here? No? Okay. Yeah, no. Well, anyway, they're expensive. They're very good. They're very expensive. Never had one. Seen one. And then we also have the Caribbean lobster tails. And the Caribbean tails are very different because they're a warm water tail. They don't grow to pitchers because they eat the crayfish and the krill, so they don't need to go actually catch the food and eat it. And the Caribbean lobsters get very, very big. I personally have caught one, and we don't have the picture, but I'll have to bring that next time. I was in with another ship that I was working with from some royal lineage. We were in a certain area that I was able to catch our own lobster, and we caught a 8.5 pound Caribbean lobster, had a 5 pound tail on it. That big around. It was good. It was really good. I didn't share with anybody, but that's okay. So anyway, okay, so back to this. Now we're going to take the rest of our garlic. I actually have about 4 or 5 garlic cloves here. And I'm just going to give these a nice rough chop. We're going to put these right here into our tomatoes. Now with the tomato water, the best thing to do with this is to get it going about a day ahead. Because you can really kind of let it sit and juice and get dirty together. I don't know. Marinate. I'm trying to think of a fun word to use. I don't know what to do there. But we're just going to kind of let it sit there, and it's going to get all this juices out of it. Then I'm going to take my basil, my fresh basil here, and I'm just going to roll this nice and tight. And then I'm going to cut this right at the end, right before I put it in. Now you may be asking yourself, why would you put basil in at the end? Hey, you guys are getting good. You put the basil at the end right when you cut it because as you cut it fresh, that's where all the oils come out. And that's what you want, that fresh basil oil. And that's where you want to get all that fresh basil flavor from. So we're gonna let that all mix in there. Now, anybody have this at home? Anybody know what this is? It's not a pantyhose. Although you could use it. Cheesecloth? Anybody have this at home? Anybody use it for anything besides straining paint? Somebody actually told me they use that for. So, you can buy muslin cloth or you can buy cheesecloth. It is a little bit expensive. So, here we want to make it easy for everybody so everybody can do it at home. So, anybody have any of these at home? Coffee filter. Plain and simple. See? I make it fun and then you guys don't have to go out and buy all this expensive stuff. Pretty cool, huh? I thought so. Alright. So, now I'm going to put my tomatoes in here. And like I said, this is being rushed a little bit because I don't have the time for everything here. But usually you let these kind of chop up and let them sit for a day or two and they just get all the juices out of them and everything. So now that we have this in here, now we're going to do our tomato water. You guys ready? Oh, tomato water.
And what do you suggest, Chef Matthew, that we do with the rest of the tomatoes once we collected all of our tomato water?
Well, there's several different things we can do with this. Anybody like chili? Yeah? Why buy canned tomatoes? You can use this. Throw it in the freezer. Perfect. Anybody make their own marinara sauce? Pizza sauce? Perfect. You got basil, you got garlic, you got salt in there. Nothing wrong with it. So you can always find a use for something in there where you don't have to go out and buy those crushed tomatoes. You already have them already crushed and done. That makes it good. And that actually adds a really good flavor to the chili. So, like I said, I have some more tomato water here, which I'm going to add. And now we have our tomato broth water, which is what we need for our ravioli. So we have the two main components. Now what do we need?
Ravioli.
If I have the ravioli and I have the insides, what do we need for the ravioli? The ravioli. So we're going to sit here, we're going to make ravioli from scratch, right? No. Anybody know what these are? Wonton skins. Simple. They're already done for you. They're already pre-sheeted, cut, thin, nice, ready to go. So that's all we need to do. See? I told you I'd make it easy for you. Nobody believes me.
So, Chef Matthew, I have a question for you. Sometimes you watch TV, you watch those cooking channels, those cooking shows, and we see how eclectic it can be in the kitchen. How does it look anything like this here on the Disney Dream when dinner time arrives?
Have you been using your word of the day toilet paper again?
Unfortunately, yes.
You PG-13 it for us here. Well, I like to say, if anybody's seen Hell's Kitchen, yes, pretty cool show. I could very easily be a Gordon Ramsay, but because of Mickey Mouse, I have to PG-13 it around here. But it does get a little intense. I can't fib about that. It does get a little crazy in there, but it's always good, and it's all done, for the greater good. We want to make sure that everything gets out as hot and fresh as possible, and we want to make sure that you guys get the best food that you can. So.
And do you have a favorite TV chef?
Favorite TV chef? Wow. I don't know. I like Ming Tsai. Anybody see Ming Tsai? Blue Ginger? Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like that truffle he's got sitting there. You ever watch that show? He's got that 3-pound truffle sitting on the side of his bench he never touches. I kill him. I love truffles.
Now don't forget,
of course, it's a $5,000 truffle, but it's there for show.
Don't forget, if you guys have any questions to ask Chef Matthew, just raise your hand. I'll go walk straight up to you so you can ask it personally to Chef Matthew. Oh, we have a question.
Uh-oh.
What's your name?
Liz.
And where are you from, Liz?
Orlando.
From Orlando? How you doing, Liz?
Good. It has here kosher or sea salt, but we use rock salt.
Yep.
So what's the difference?
Kosher is just actually it's a refined sea salt that's been blessed, and it's a little bit it's done in a very sterile environment, so it's good for cooking. It's great. It's very good. It's nice. It flakes very well. It's a very dissolvable salt. Or sea salt. Sea salt gets a little bit more expensive, especially with like Florida Sal. And if you get a refiner sea salts, the real fine grained ones, you're looking at between $9, $10, $12 a pound for that. But rock salt, like I'm using, or a Malden or a Celtic, you can get this at the store for about $2 a pound, and then use a salt grinder. It's whatever you prefer.
And I have another one. I'm hiding in the room right here.
Uh-oh.
With?
Andrea,
Hello,
Where are you from?
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay, now hold on a second. Before you answer this next question, remember that I'm cooking all the food for you on this ship. Are you a Cubs fan? Knowing that I'm from St. Louis? No? Okay, then continue with your question.
Speaking of cooking shows, do you aspire to want to go on any other cooking shows?
That's a very interesting question. I like that. I have an interesting story to that. I was working for another cruise company that I won't mention with royal lineage. Before I took that job, I was actually recruited and was going to go on Top Chef. But I turned them down to work for the cruise ships. So if it came up again, would I do it? Yes, I think I would. I would really like to do it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But at the time I was working for Wolfgang Puck in St. Louis and had filled it out on a dare. And they liked my personality, they liked everything about me, and they said that they wanted me to come. So I went through 2 trials, and then I was one of the final cuts, and then I said I had to turn it down because I took the job with Royal Caribbean instead. Which I don't regret at all. I really don't.
Do you have time for another question, Tim?
Of course.
All right.
Tony from South Louisiana.
Yes, Tony from South Louisiana. Baton Rouge?
Just outside of.
Just outside Baton
Baton
Rouge.
Rouge. Where did you do your formal training? I know you grew up cooking, but where did you have your culinary
I went
training?
through the School of Hard Knocks, and I'm very proud to say that I actually graduated from the University of Missouri in Columbia with radio and television broadcasting, and then switched careers and went through several little classes here, little classes there, and then I took some correspondence classes, and then I was working for Majestic American Cruise Lines out of New Orleans. Then I went to LCI, which is Louisiana Culinary out of Baton Rouge. I mentioned it, and got my degree from there. So it's a great school. I love Baton Rouge. I had a great time. Got some great Southern Creole dishes and make the best etouffee you'll ever have. So we'll talk later.
I'll challenge you.
Challenge accepted.
It's a quick fire.